Hello everyone, welcome back to the Forge. We're going to jump back on this project. We were way overdue on getting it finished, but I have got all my orders here at the shop caught up, so I can get back on working on this bad boy. The first thing that we're going to do today is inset the ricasso area down into this guard. I will use my rotary carver for that, so let's get it scribed out. Let's get to work. Alright, let's get to carving it out. Alright, we got a good fit up there on the guard, so we're going to turn our attention to cleaning this guard up and move on to the handle. Alright, I've got the guard cleaned up here. Really like how it turned out. I like how the little pits and stuff in it give it kind of a antique look. I was originally going to use gun blue on this, but I think I'll leave it shiny. I kind of like the way that it looks. So now we can move on to the handle. I've got a large piece of black walnut here. Originally I wanted to go with something like a ironwood or a mesquite, but the places I was looking at that I only buy from were sold out, and I didn't want to have to wait forever. You know, it's been long enough since I've actually been able to get in here and finish this sword as it is. But I had a large chunk of black walnut, so that's what we're going to go with for the handle. I think it'll look pretty good. So let's start getting this handle measured out and get ready to cut it, start drilling it. Let's get ready to wrap this thing up. Alright, so the handle on this should end up being around 5 inches with the pommel. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this at 5 inches. We will have to cut this off and add some all thread to it. I already know that, but not too worried about that at this point. So let's go ahead and look here below the guard. 5 inches. Puts it in the ballpark of right here. Alright, so we'll get our wood cut off here. We'll get it cut to the width, because right now it's way too thick. And then after we get that all cut off, I'll go ahead and get the all thread welded on here so we can move on to getting the pommel figured out. And last, we'll go ahead and get this wood shaped up and then start trying to get everything rough fit so we can figure out what we need to do next. Alright. Alright, now that we got our handle material fitting up real nicely, I went ahead and marked this with a Sharpie. I'm going to go cut it off square, and then we'll go ahead and get around to welding our all thread on, so we can start on our pommel. Once we get the pommel on, once we get the pommel and the nut on it, we'll be able to figure out how I want the handle layout and everything, and it won't be too far from being finished up. So let's go ahead and get this wood cut off and then move on to the next step. Alright, this is the piece of steel here that I'm going to use for the pommel of this. And I've already went to the mill and I've milled off the surface here fairly level. So I'm going to stick it on here and kind of eyeball where I want it. Okay. Not going to be super precise with this. There's no reason to be. Alright. And figure out exactly where half is. I got so much to grind off of here that it won't make that big of a difference if I was to make it exact. Alright, let's go punch it and get it drilled. Alright, so this is where we are right now with everything assembled. This is super long right now, but that's fine. I'll be cutting it off and grinding it smoother as we go along. Got an idea here of how I want the handle to go. We'll still have to thin it down. It's still pretty thick, but right now I'm going to focus on the profile in this area here. So I'm going to go on over to the grinder and start cleaning these up, getting them ready to get final shaped, and then we'll move on to the rest of it. Not too far off now.